The Constitutional Court has heard arguments regarding the public participation process ahead of the passing of the contentious Traditional and Khoi-San Leadership Act. Activists claim there was no adequate consultation on the process. The act has been criticized for keeping in place apartheid boundaries and locking traditional communities into those jurisdictions. CONTRALESA President Kgoshi Mathupa Mokoena joins us now for their perspective. Thank you very much, sir, for your time this afternoon. Speaking to a legal expert yesterday, they indicated that the public participation process has been quite contentious because there are people who were not able to make their submissions. What is your understanding of how the process has fared so far?
Good morning, madam. Indeed, as the royal leadership, we are worried about the sentiments and comments made by that lady who was representing the Legal Resources Center, because she distorted how traditional leaders are doing their work and how things are happening. And as royal leadership, there are some other legislation that they were not happy with as well, as far as TKLA is concerned. But what she said about us, among other things, is that traditional leaders are now servant of the state, not servant of the people, which to me is an insult. Apparently, she's not even aware that traditional leaders are having what we call imbizo, or gatherings, where you are seeking views from the community about what's happening in the particular tribe. Secondly, officials from COGTA, they will visit our offices unannounced to come and check our books and do all these other things. She even lied to say traditional leaders, because of what we call to get proof of residence, we are depriving people to conduct burials in our areas, which is a lie, which is a blue lie. Apparently, she read about traditional leadership. It is clear that she has never put her foot in any area of traditional leadership. She was just told about us and she went out about it. Surprisingly, she even talked about why are we still having our boundaries. For example, as Kgoshi Mokoena, I'm having my area where I am presiding over. She said those boundaries are supposed to be done away with. The question is, why is she not questioning the boundaries by those white farmers who are owning a large tract of land? They are having their own demarcated boundaries and so on. She's quiet about it, but she wants us as traditional leaders to stay as if we are just in a zoo like animals. Now, a lot of things that she said really are quite disturbing. Hence, we said we had to respond to this, to her lies, because it is clear that she is a granddaughter of all those imperialists who wanted to come and destroy African rule here in South Africa. Now, the question is, who was in charge of this country before all these governments came into being? So she must go back and look at her own history, even how her grandparents came into Africa, my leader.
Kgoshi Mokoena, she did mention that it is not, I think she reiterated twice, that it is not all traditional leaders who are found wanting. Are you aware of cases where there are some traditional leaders who are a law unto themselves and depriving their very people that they lead of their basic rights?
Her Royal Highness, if there is a snake in your house, you can't burn the whole house trying to kill the snake. If there is this particular traditional leader, why didn't she say there is this traditional leader who is doing 1, 2, 3, instead of clapping us, brushing us with the same brush? That was wrong. Yes, she might have said that, but the question is, who is that particular traditional leader? She is aware there is CONTRALESA in this country. She should have called the leadership in CONTRALESA to say, we are having a problem about this particular people. who are not treating the people correctly. For example, we had yesterday when we interviewed her, she said she's surprised why traditional leaders are not removed from their positions if they don't give service to their people, which to me was rubbish. I mean, there are many ministers, many politicians, including herself, in where she's working as a lawyer. If she loses many cases and so on, is she supposed to be removed from her position? The answer is no. I mean, that was really, it shows that she hates traditional leaders with passion. She's one of those Republicans who don't just want to see a royal leadership existing in our country. Unfortunately, she must just ask her grandparents from Europe how they came here. They found us here, and if they want to leave, they will find that we'll be staying here. And I want to concede that there are many white compatriots who don't have anything against traditional leaders. They love us, they understand us. Of course, yes, we are not semi-gods. We can make mistakes. But she behaves really as if she just landed here in Africa a few months ago, because she was distorting our history as traditional leaders in this country. Her Royal Highness.
Please help us, Kgoshi Mokoena, with the distortions, and maybe just set the record straight and tell us how the system works and why it should be preserved.
As we are, in terms of Chapter 12 in the Constitution, Section 211, 212, we are here as traditional leaders because all these governments came and found us being here as traditional leaders. Secondly, there are many disputes in our country, especially in rural areas, where if there was no traditional leader, you can imagine what was going to happen. If you talk of some crimes that are committed, there is more order in traditional leadership because the existence of traditional leaders. Secondly, we, like what she said yesterday, to say if one can get a proof of residence, they are deprived them to bury their loved ones. They can't go to the banks and so on. She was lying, like some of her other friends in that institution. They were lying. And what they are doing, they will hire a crowd. They will go to one incident somewhere. They used to use one gogo from Singa. They will use her wherever there will be a meeting. They will take her to go around the country where she go and lambast traditional leaders in the name of she is representing the community. Which community? We even invited them, we challenged them to say, just choose any traditional leadership area. Go there and ask for a meeting and ask women in particular. Because there is this thing of saying women are not regarded as human beings in our traditional areas, which also is a lie. Now, those are some of the distortions. In traditional leadership area, what we do, people will come and complain about this and that. What we are doing, we'll call a meeting and invite our local councillors. We may even invite our MPLs to come and be part of those meetings where people will raise their concerns. As a traditional leader, I will be presiding over those meetings and people will raise their issues. We are doing so much, and hence I'm saying, unfortunately, she read about us. She maybe knew about one incident. Then she said the traditional leaders this, traditional leaders that. Those are the same people, Royal Highness, who are having their team in the University of Western Cape, where they are challenging each and everything that is said about traditional leaders. They don't want to see traditional leaders existing in our country. But unfortunately, we are here to stay. This is a democratic government. This is a black government. And as traditional leaders, we don't owe any apology or any favor from anyone to exist in our country. what makes us even more surprised is that, as I said, they have got our contacts. No one can claim that does not know Kgoshi Mokoena is the president of CONTRALESA. Even if they don't want to talk to CONTRALESA, there is the National House where they can check any information. So we are pleading to all those who hate traditional leaders, all those who are imperialist used, please get your facts correct before you lambast traditional leaders. Because it is only a matter of one day, we're going to respond very harshly. Like this lady who you interviewed yesterday, who lied about us because she does not have any information. She must please go and refer to what happened when her forefathers came into Africa through a boat. We are not going to keep quiet. It's a high time we're going to respond very harshly when people lie about traditional leaders in this country. Her Royal Highness.
Kgoshi Mokoena, on Thursday, the Constitutional Court will hear a challenge to the Traditional and Khoi-San Leadership Act. Were you consulted before this was taken to court?
As usual, we're not, because those are those NGOs who are funded by some imperialists who will go there. But I must concede, Her Royal Highness, that as traditional leadership, we are not happy with some of the clauses as well in this legislation. Among other things, it says any person can go to courts and challenge Kgoshi Mokoena that I'm not the rightful place in this position. And the court might even give a default judgment against me. So that will be carried. And that's how I can be removed. It also says a traditional leader is only there because of the royal family. If a royal family, some of them, because there are disputes all the time in our royal families, if they can gather, being 4, 5, and 6, took a decision about you, they are removed. You can be removed. It is not saying processes must be followed first. It's just saying if the royal family decides that you must be removed, that's it. Hence, we wrote a letter to the Minister of Culture, Dr. Nkosi Zuma, that we want to make some amendments to this legislation. It's not this one only, but many other clauses that we are totally against. But but those who are going there, they are going there to challenge that as traditional leaders were given powers, which again is a lie. Traditional leaders were fighting because even the Constitution is not giving us any powers. Chapter 12, it talks of the roles and functions. No powers given to us as traditional leaders. Therefore, we are also not happy about this legislation. But they are going there for wrong reasons. We are going there as well, challenging this thing because of our own other reasons, not what they are going there for. But we are saying, let them go and fight whatever. Traditional leaders will be here to stay. It's like what's happening now in terms of, Madam, Her Royal Highness, about the traditional courts bill. It has been in Parliament for more than 15 years. It's only now it is passed by Parliament. Guess what? They are the very same institution, the Legal Resources Center. They are saying we don't deserve to have our own courts as traditional leaders. People must just go to the magistrate and so on. You see that attitude of this people who are coming from Europe, that attitude. Can you imagine that the courts were there even before they arrived in this country? But now they are saying we don't deserve to have our own courts. They are even saying if those courts are going to be there, people must be allowed to opt out. If you are summoned or invited to come to a traditional leader to come and account for one or two things, they are saying people must have a right to opt out. But when you ask a question, if in the magistrate you are summoned, can you do the same? They say no. It is clear that it is only the courts is run by black people that they are against. So we are saying they must just fasten their seat belts and get ready, because traditional leadership is here to stay. We're going nowhere. If they don't adjust, they will have these high palpitations and stress and so on. And unfortunately, we can't help them, Her Royal Highness.
CONTRALESA President Kgoshi Mathupa Mokoena. Thank you very much, sir, for your time this morning.